Om Agyana Timirandasya Jnana Shalakaya Chakshurunmritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Mano Bhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutare Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Gurun Shri Uttapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Saganaraunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Saganarita Shri Visakam Vitam Cha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Risavanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakarpatarubhyacha Kripa Sindhuvya Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai Jai Gaur Hari Premanande Hari Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Can you hear me?
Yes, Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna,
Welcome.
yes, we can. Yeah, Haribol.
Thank you for reading the Mangalacharan. So my camera is flickering on and off. At some point it may go off, but please forgive me for that. And I believe I'm reading today on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 10, verse 23. And I apologize in advance because I got very short notice and I've been very busy. I couldn't prepare much. But whatever Krishna make me talk, I'll talk about. Is that okay?
That's perfect.
Yes, Mataji.
Thank you so much for,
Thank you.
for coming on to this call at such a short notice, not even 10 hours. So thank you so much, Mataji.
Yeah, but for you, we may find it 10 hours. For me, it was not because it's 9 o'clock in the morning here. So
that's right. So you had the only 1 hour or half an hour. Sorry
that's
about
okay.
that.
That's okay, Mataji. Whatever Krishna desire, that will come out of my mouth.
So
Okay?
for the host for the day is Priya Govind Prabhu. So I'll just be in the background silent.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you. So thank you, Prabhuji, for doing the Mangalacharan. I'll just do a little prayer and then we can start. Okay? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuranmritam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirabhishesha Shunyavadi Paschatadi Satarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukham Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Giri Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Guru Dina Taranam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Ishwaram Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narotamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshwa Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavate Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Slokir Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. So, Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please can accept my humble obeisances. O good Srila Prabhupada, thank you for giving me this opportunity today, even if it was a short notice. I'll try to do my best. And I pray to Krishna, please pray for me and bless me that whatever comes from my mouth is appropriate to the topic and is related to Krishna. So, thank you. And today verse is, as I said, verse 23. Let me go back to verse 23. But before that, let's talk a little bit about in general, right? What is this Canto 2 about? Canto 2 is something very technical, as we say, but it is the most important canto in the all 12 cantos, because if somebody wants to know about Krishna and about Bhagavatam and about all the pastime of the Lord, we need to start here. And it is the most important lesson. And there is no other spiritual scriptures that in which such details are mentioned about the human life, about its implication, about our senses, about how it came into existence. Even we know everybody has been talking about the Big Bang, and it was a Big Bang, and then everything manifested. But here in Srimad Bhagavatam, it is explained how every little membrane of our body, every little part have come into existence. How the Lord, by his merciful glance, how when he wanted to open his eyes, he wanted to eat, everything is in here. There is no other scriptures that will give us this kind of detail, because our scriptures, this is a real and true one. That's why. And then, so if we want to understand Srimad Bhagavatam, we should understand Canto 2 first, right? And how beautifully every single part of the body and the features, they are explained in here. In other part, there are many devotees, who they have already discussed a lot of whatever from verse 1 up to 23. They have already discussed all this, so it's no use going into detail. But also, we should know one thing. One thing is that the whole chapter 10, the whole chapter 10 here describe when the Lord desires. So only through the Lord desires evolution take place. So we have seen how he desired to manifest varieties of living entities from himself, from the alone, nobody else. That is, in life, if we want to have a child, we have to have the mother and the father. But it doesn't matter animals or whatever, but here, the Lord alone, he doesn't need anyone's help. Then the sense energy, the material force, and bodily strength are all generated. And that to show us, like in detail, to give us kind of example, like the Lord have manifested as a Virata Rupa, the universal form, right? So that we can see and we can relate to all what he's talking about, what he's telling us, and what he is manifesting at the same time. And then the Lord also we learn about the senses, the organ, and about the sense objects. We know there are 5 senses, the 5 sense organs, that all these details have already been discussed upon. So how have we got this magnificent body and different bodily parts and the functions? So that is when the Lord only desires each and every trait manifested. That is why we are part and parcel of the Lord. We are called part and parcel of the Lord. That is why we are his part and parcel, because whatever he desired, whatever he acquired by his desire, by desiring, we got the same, right? But we have got very minute capacities, minute everything. But he has got a full potency, full all the qualities. Beauty, strength, wealth, fame, his name. He has got all in even renunciation, he has got in full. Even Lord Krishna married 16,100 wives in Dwarka, but he is the top renunciant. How can that be? People will think, how can that be? But he is a top renunciant. That is the quality of the Lord that we cannot possess. We cannot possess that quality. but we possess every qualities, but little bit, like tiny bit. And so how if we are part and parcel of the Lord, so how come we are in this material world? So this is a question for all of you. Anyone can answer, please. I like it to be a bit interactive, not talking and get everybody bored with my talks. So please, can anyone unmute, please? Why, how come we are in this material world if we are part and parcel of the Lord? So we can give an analogy of a family. There is a parents and the children. And then suddenly we see one child has left home. Why and how?
Sorry, do you want us to answer, Mataji?
Yes, please, go ahead.
I'm just thinking, maybe because I think perhaps because we sinned and we have to pay a penalty for it. So we got karma. He made us, but we are coming from a long line of, we've been born again many times. So we carry that over, and I think that's why we're not part and parcel. We're not with him totally, but he made us that way, that we're part and parcel of him, because we are his children. So in a way, he's not disowning us, but he's giving us that free will to either outspend our sins, our karma, or take a path towards him. So he's giving us a choice, because life is like that. You can't just come and get everything all together in this material world. So if you're in the material world, you are caught up with all the other material contamination.
Yes, Mataji, but your answer is good. But how come you said we committed sins? So what are the sins that we committed?
Well, the sins, we've accrued karma, because that is sinful, isn't it? You don't get karma without doing a sinful act.
Yes. We can do sins anywhere and everywhere, but specific answer to this would be that we desired to enjoy just like Krishna. We forgot our constitutional position, which is we are the servant of the Lord. We are not master. We wanted to become master just like Lord Krishna. So we think that, okay, why is he enjoying? Why can't I enjoy just like him? Just thinking about that, it happened, right? But in this present age, like in the Kali Yuga, we should be happy, because when we think about something, it does not, maybe we're thinking about killing somebody. Let's go to the extent, right? We're thinking about killing somebody. We are not incurring any sins until we kill that person. But in the previous ages, they're thinking we got the karma, right? So we thought, why are we not enjoying just like Krishna? So we all come from the Golok Vrindavan. But why did Krishna said, okay, you want to enjoy like me. You want to be on the equal level as me. So I create this material world. And in Bhagavad Gita, in Bhagavatam, Krishna says, he did not create this material world like happily. He did not want to create this material, but due to our desire to enjoy, we say, okay, I'll manifest this material world for you. You go, experience, enjoy. When you realize your constitutional position, when you realize that you are servant, you are not master, then you come back to me. He gives us, and he gives us opportunity also. He gives us this free will to decide also. Opportunity, excuse me. Opportunity is he sent his representative. He sent guru. He sent other devotees. He sent the books. He sent so many, the scriptures, everything. Because Bhagavatam is nothing than Krishna himself. When Krishna decided to leave this material world, when he was going, only one person was with him. And who was he? Anybody knows who was with the Lord at the last minute when he was leaving this material world? He gave that person, Uddhava, thank you. So he gave Uddhava this instruction. Then Maitreya Muni joined. And there was a debate. Why did Maitreya Muni did not join? Why did Krishna didn't choose Maitreya Muni, who is older than Uddhava? He's a great sage. Because Maitreya Muni, he was materialistic. He was a sage, yes. There are sages who are materialistic. But here, Uddhava was a pure devotee. That's why. And the Lord wanted Uddhava to go and tell this message. One answer. Second reason is why Maitreya Muni reached there also is because Uddhava, because soon afterward they will meet Vidur. And Vidur is the same age as Uddhava's father. And it would be not nice for Uddhava to teach Vidur. That's why the Lord makes sure that Maitreya Muni is there, and Maitreya Muni will narrate everything to Vidura, not Uddhava. And Uddhava also, he could not do that at that time because he was in such he was suffering from the separation of the Lord, so he would not be able to narrate properly what the Lord has said, what orders he has given. So then Uddhava left. Then we see Maitreya and Vidura's conversation, right? So sorry, I was here. I don't know where I've gone. So yes, because we wanted to enjoy this material world. So we see that Krishna said, okay, you go. And then he wants us back. And there are like same, like what I think Madan Gopal Prabhu was saying, same amount of living entities in this material world than there are in the spiritual world already liberated ones. So it's a kind of constantly changing, constantly moving. So once we go back to the spiritual world, we would not want to come back here, because now that we are here, we have realized that we have left our actual real home. We have come here. So when we go back, we will remember it. It's just like when the son is rebellious at home, he wants to go away and he doesn't want to stay with their parents because he wants his freedom. So parents will try to pacify him, give him whatever he wants. Then he will stay he will try, and then he will go. Parents say, okay, you go. Okay, you cannot. We will help you. We'll still help you. We will pay your rent. Maybe if you want to go somewhere else, we'll pay your rent. And so then the son will go, parents will help him pay the rent and everything. And then at some point, he will realize that, look, I didn't want to stay with my parents. Here, I have to do everything. I have to start going for my grocery shopping, I have to start cooking, cleaning, and washing and doing everything. On top, I have to work to earn all this. Even parents are paying only for the rent. I have to do the rest myself. So at some point, then he decides, no, it's too difficult for me. Let me go back home. He will come back, and parents will accept him very happily. So this is the same our situation. Krishna wants us back, but how many of us has realized it that Krishna wants us back? Just a handful. Many of us we don't even remember, right? So when we take to Krishna consciousness, then we get all this knowledge, and then we decide, then we go back to Krishna. We take this mission of ending this life and finishing our karma in this very life, and then we go back. And then when we reach home there, we remember, oh, we have been in so much pain in this material world. We don't want to come back. Because this is kind of a trial for us, because before that, we were there. Then we want to come here. Now, when we go back, we don't want to come back here. So this is something to understand. So also, we see, as I said about this manifestation body, but also, if so yeah, Mataji was saying, so we come here to pay for our sin, which is true. But if we contemplate on our life, we see there is nothing permanent here. Nothing permanent. We grow, we are born, we grow, we study, work, get married, have children, have lots of responsibilities. And then we think that that's fun. But that is not fun at all. That we have the sufferings also. Together with it, we have disease, old age, birth, and eventually death. So birth in itself is so painful, right? And how come we come to this material world? It is a long process. We come in the form of rain. We come in the form of rain, and when rain falls on the earth, and then plants are sprouted, like plants comes, trees comes, and there are fruits, there are vegetables, all these comes. So when we eat these vegetables, what happened is just like women, most of the women, mothers, we have womb to give birth. We have womb to carry the child and then give birth. But the men, they have that part of their body that can catch the sperm. So they have that function, whereas women have different function. But then the food that we eat, from there we get everything. Not only taste, not only energy, not only vitamins, proteins, or whatever, but also we got these very, very precious life-carrying semens, right? So then how, now when, it is so funny, one person was explaining, so when the wheat was grown, from the wheat, how come the wheat come to our plate? And he was talking about making chapati, how much suffering we go through, which we don't know. We come as rain, we fall, and then fruits and everything is grown. And then he was giving the example of the chapati. So he said the wheat, it goes in the mill and in the grinding mill. So we are being grinded. And then when we are being grinded, we go in the kitchen as flour. And there the mothers will put hot water, they will put things, and they will make the dough. And how much they are kneading the dough. And then we'll put on the pan where we'll be cooked on the fire. And from there, then we will be eaten. When we are eaten, we are being chewed. Then we'll go in the body. And some part will go as waste, some part will be kept as in the body to use. But that is where the semen is coming into the body. And from there, it will go in the mother's womb. And from there, now living in the womb for 9 months. And that was upside down, so bad. And in a place where, worst place, where there is stool and urine, we stay there. And we are struggling in there. We have this kind of rope around our neck, which is umbilical cord. And we are praying to the Lord. And at the beginning, there is no skin. It's just a lump. And that skin is being eaten by all these small bugs in our body, in the mother's body. Like we have worms, we have bacteria, we have all these. They're eating that tiny lump of meat, which we can say. And that embryo is suffering. And sometimes they want to stretch. We want to stretch in the womb, but there's no place. We are restricted. So what do? We call out. And when we want to stretch, we move, and parents are so happy, my baby is kicking. But poor thing inside, he's not kicking. He's trying to tell you, I am suffering here. And sometimes doctor says the child has they have to give antibiotic because the child has swallowed something. Swallowing something, what is it? Is a dirty water from the body of the mother. So as soon as a child is born, antibiotic is being given to the child just to clear. Sometimes some children die because of the umbilical cord around their neck. It's too short or whatever. Sometimes during the process of birth, they are like, you have the placenta previa or whatever, they have to go through CS and all these things are there. But for us, for general mass of people, we think that this is very beautiful having a child. It is beautiful, but it is very painful also for the living entity. So we go through all this, and then at some point we start praying, please God, take me out of here, please God. And God will say, okay, I take you out of here. What do I get from here? I will pray to you, I will never forget you. Okay, Krishna says, okay, I'll take you in this material world. But at the same time, the soul, it will say, please help me, because I will forget you. When Maya will catch me as soon as we get out. We know the example of Sukadeva Goswami. He didn't want to come out of the womb of his mother. For some people say 14 years, some people say 16 years. He didn't want to come out. As soon as he came out of the womb, he ran. He ran to the forest naked without talking to anyone. Father was after, Vyasadeva ran after him. Oh son, oh son. All he heard was the echo of the trees. Oh son, oh son. But he didn't come. He didn't come. Only when, after some time, Vyasadeva, he taught his disciples some verses from the Bhagavatam. They went to the forest and recited those verses loudly. Then Sukadeva Goswami, he already knew all these Bhagavatam, but when he heard those verses, he followed those disciples to his father's place, not knowing that he was going to his father's house again. But then he went there just for the Bhagavatam. And so the person here, when a child is born, he doesn't have any knowledge. Where is he? Keep crying because he's still thinking of the trauma he's been through. And mother will say, my son, father will say, my son, nurses will say, my baby, because I delivered this baby. School will say, my student. When you're going to workplace, employer will say, my employee. Like this, everybody. Then they got married. Wife will say, my husband. Children will say, my father. Again, my, we get entangled in this process. But if we realize, or if you read Bhagavatam, we get everything in Bhagavatam, then we realize, yes, this is not our place to stay. This is not where we should be staying. So, yes, I'm being diverted a little bit, sorry. So, yes, here, we also know that sometimes we think that we are enjoying, but we are not enjoying. We are being enjoyed by the time. And when time comes for us to live, no one can save us. No money, no family members, no society, no friends, no relatives, no one except for the Lord, who is independent. And we are all dependent upon him only. So we are very affected by material nature, but he is not. We are only a tiny spark of the big fire. And if we stay within the big fire, then we are blazing. But if we leave it, we are extinguished. We don't survive. That is why we need to have a good understanding of the position of the Lord and our position as subordinate. So since we know that everything comes from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna, we need to establish a relationship with him and progress in our spiritual activities. So far, we have seen the explanation on the subject of the absolute dependence of the living entities of the Lord. Example, when the Lord wanted to smell, odors, nostrils, and respiration were generated. When the Lord desired to see, then the eyes, the illuminating sun god, and the power of vision and the objects of the sight manifested. When the Supreme Being desired to hear, then the ears, the directions, the power of objects of hearing, and the Lord of the hearing, they manifested. So in this way, we should use this power of hearing in the service of the Lord. Because in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, I think chapter 2, verse 17, he said, Srunvatam Sakatha Krishna Punya Sravana Kirtanaha Hirdayandistu Abhadrani Vidhunoti Suritsatam. So let me read the translation. So Krishna, Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is a Paramatma, super soul in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. So that is why we have got these ears and we hear. We know Prahlad Maharaj at the age of 5, 6, he was telling Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaran. So Shravanam comes first. First thing, Shravanam. If we don't listen, we will not know anything. Listening comes first. When we listen, then we start thinking, we start talking about it. I listen, I heard a few things, and now I'm talking, I'm sharing, chanting also. So now, first, everything, sound. Sound comes, and then everything else comes. So here also, we know that we have to listen first, listening to Krishna Katha, that will remove all the fearfulness. And now I'll go to text 23. It continues with a generation of the touch, senses, and then here, text 23. Let me go to text 23. Okay, yes, text 23. Vastunori Mridu Katinya Laghu Gurusna Sitatam Jikriksatastam Nirbinna Dasyam Roma Mahiruha Tatra Chandir Bahirvatas Twachalagva Gunovritaha. So what does it say here? Translation. When there was a desire to perceive the physical characteristics of matter, such as softness, hardness, warmth, cold, lightness, and heaviness, the background of sensation, the skin pores, the hairs on the body, and their controlling deities, the trees were generated. Within and outside the skin is a covering of air through which sense perception became prominent. Now we go to the purport. The physical characteristic of matter, such as softness, a subject of sense perception, and thus physical knowledge is a subject matter of the touch sensation. One can measure the temperature of matter by touching with the hand, and one can measure the weight of an object by lifting it with the hand, and thus estimate its heaviness or lightness. The skin pores, and the hairs on the body are all interdependent with a touch sensation. The air blowing within and outside the skin is also an object of sense perception. This sense perception is also a source of knowledge, and therefore it is suggested that here that physical and physiological knowledge is subordinate to the knowledge of the self. As above mentioned, knowledge of self can expand to the knowledge of phenomena, but physical knowledge cannot lead to knowledge of the self. There is, however, an intimate relation between the hairs on the body and the vegetation on the body of the earth. The vegetables are nourishment for the skin, both as food and medicine, as stated in the 3rd canto. Tvacham asya vinirbhinnam vivishuddhisnyam oshadihi. So yes, that means that oshadihi is medication. Right. So here, Prabhupada is explaining about the touch. That when we want to touch something, when we want to feel something, and our tendency is always to touch and feel, because if we see something beautiful, we want to touch it, we want to feel it, the softness. Suppose somebody give us a gift like a shawl or anything, we want to touch it to feel, is it soft, is it nice, or is it light or heavy? We want all this experience, and then that's how we got the sensation, the touch sensation. And Prabhupada explains something very interesting here, is the vegetables are nourishment for the skin, both as food and medicine. So it says it has an intimate relation between the hair on the body and the vegetation on the body of the earth. So yes, it has its relation. As I explained before, where do we come from? So we come from that vegetation itself. Then we become human. Then we use that vegetation again to nourish ourselves. If we are sick, we got medication. From where? And all this, but nowadays people are using so much chemicals in everything, but we have the Ayurveda medicine, which is natural, which people have been using from time immemorial. Chemicals nowadays, people are doing kind of research. What is the meaning of research? Something that has already been searched is there. They are researching on it and they're adding their own mental concoction on it. Because if we see, and if we see any article written by scientists, we will see that they will give you at the end of the research, of the report, they will give you something. More research need to be done. More research need to be done. It's not conclusive. They're not sure. There is not a single report that you read. You will see that this is complete. This is absolutely 100% sure. There's always this thing saying that more research need to be done. It's not conclusive. Why? Because if they read the Bhagavatam, if they read the scriptures, they will find the correct answer and it will be conclusive. There will be not this doubt that, no, we are not sure. Right? And also, here we can see that Srila Prabhupada talks a lot about all the senses. So what we should do, we should use the senses in the service of the Lord. The senses, they are not for our own enjoyment. The senses are to be used in the service of the Lord, like Ambarish Maharaj. Ambarish Maharaj, he used all his senses. He was a king. And it is said, even he didn't go for his own wedding. He said, okay, you go and bring the bride here. I'm not going because I don't want to waste that time. I don't want to be away from the service of the Lord. I want to be here. I want to be constantly in front of the Lord, doing he was sweeping the temple. He was serving the Lord. He was eating the remnant. He used his feet to walk around, to go to like spiritual places, and his hand to serve the Lord, everything. And when he was doing that, now who was ruling? If the king himself is sitting in the temple 24 hours, who is ruling the country? So the Lord sent the Sudarshan Chakra. He says, Sudarshan Chakra, you rule that kingdom for the king, because the king is in my service. Now, when he got married, the wife came and he was not at home. He was always in the temple. So the wife was asking all the ministers and the sages, who were the ministers at the time, what do I do? Because my husband is not at home at all. He's all the time at the temple. So they told him to get a deity of Gopal. Get a deity of Gopal and you start doing service at home. And you will see the transformation will happen. So she started praying to Gopal. She got Gopal at home and she started doing service. And every morning she will sing so beautifully. The king will say, okay, my wife also is on the same level now, right? So that was the beauty of it. If at home we are serious and one person start doing the seva, so for sure the Lord will help us. So yes, I think that I'm sorry I haven't prepared much, and I think that I have been able to say something. Please forgive me for apologies for any mistake I have made. And if anybody has anything to add, any questions or correction, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, wonderful. Sorry, Hare Krishna Mataji, for your wonderful class.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, it was quite explanatory, and we stood to gain so much from your wonderful class. about how we should control our senses, and we should use our senses for the satisfaction of Krishna. And actually, it is mentioned in the Nectar of Devotion, Bhakti Samrita Sindhu, Sarvapadi Vinirmuktam, Tat Paratvena Nirmalam, Rishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Ruchati. That one has to engage the service in the senses in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because he is the master of all the senses, Rishikesha. When the spirit soul renders service to the Supreme Lord, one is freed from all material designation and one becomes purified. So we have to use our service, or we have to employ our service in our, we have to employ our senses in the service of the Lord. That is very, very important, because we see that we are enjoying some minute independence. Yes, but still we are dependent on Krishna and everything. Even the power to speak, we saw that there is a predominating deity or a devata who is in charge of our speech, even of our vision. So we can't do anything independently. Everything is sanctioned by Krishna. So the minute independence we have to use it very nicely, very carefully. Like last time while I was giving class, I talked about how the state gives you a driving license. But when you misuse it, then they can be taken away, isn't it? So same case also, we are very fortunate having a human form of life in this lifetime. So we should use it for the service and glorification of Krishna. And if we don't use it, what will happen? License will be withdrawn, and then we'll depreciate. And next life, we're going to take a lower species of life depending on our karma. So this body and the senses should be used for the satisfaction of Krishna. That is the main point. Bhakti, everything evolves around bhakti. Why we are reading about creation, so at least we can be able to surrender to Krishna and to serve him wholeheartedly. So anyone who can add something or who have a question?
Thank you, Prabhuji,
Michael,
for your nice realization, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. You covered the whole this chapter 10 only with these few sentences. You know, Rishikesh is a name for Krishna. That's why we call Krishna Rishikesh, because he's a master of the senses. He's master of everything, right? So thank you so much.
Yes.
So anyone else? As you said, it is, if the Lord has given us all these beautiful and useful senses, let us use them in the service of the Lord only. Yeah, because we sometimes think we are enjoying this world. What kind of pleasure is that it never ends? Everything has an end for us. But let us use it properly, so that even when it ends, all these senses, everything is ended, we still carry the good one with us. But if we don't do the good one, what are we going to carry? The soul will have nothing to carry, nothing good to carry, right? So thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. So I was thinking about something just now. It came to my mind yesterday. The Mataji, what's his name? Panchali Mataji. She gave nice class on, and she was talking about Kumkaran by the way using the wrong word, like by the mercy of Mata Saraswati, the wrong word come to her on his tongue, so that he asked, instead of saying that he wants something, but he got something else, that he got to sleep for 6 months, right? And I remembered a little story that I would like to share with everyone here, how we should be very like sure when we are talking, and be very appropriate in the wordings toward the Lord. And that one is, there was one person, he was a follower of Mother Kali. And what happened is, he got married at the age of 25 years. And because he was a Bhagat of Kali, so he said he's taking his wife to Mother Kali, to the goddess Kali's temple, just to get her blessing. So he took the wife, and then he went there, and he said in his prayer, he said, Bhaksha, 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 Bhaksha. So he went home, and the wife died. So he got very distressed. He said, I went and asked for blessings. Look what has happened. So he said, okay. After 5 years, he got married again. He did the same thing. He went to the temple again, and he again said the same word. And then the wife died again. So now he got very distressed. And after another 5 years, now he's getting mature, older. So he got a mature wife, and he got married again. So this time when he took the wife to the temple, and he said, Bhaksha, Bhaksha again. So the wife said, what are you saying? You should say Raksha, Raksha, not Bhaksha, Bhaksha. Bhaksha, Bhaksha means eat, eat. I'm offering you, eat. And Raksha means save and protect. So this is just a V and a R. So this, we should be very, very careful. We make lots of mistakes. Nobody is perfect, that I know. But I just wanted to share this little story when we say something, how we should be precise in our speech. So thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you. So thank you, everyone. Thank you.
But Mataji, I have a question regarding that. For example, those people who are not devotees, who are new to Krishna consciousness, maybe they are not chanting properly. I think they have Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna Maha Mantra has a different effect to that, isn't it? For sure, we chant it wrongly, still we derive the same benefit. Or
Prabhuji, we don't chant properly anyway. Even great people, great sages, because our pronunciation is different depending on if we know the accent and the Sanskrit, or I don't know any Hindi or Sanskrit or Devanagari, nothing. But I try to be precise as possible. But when Krishna is so merciful that as soon as he sees somebody has started chanting, that is, purification has already started. We have the effect. But when we go deeper in bhakti, when we understand that we should be very serious, then we start being cautious, like getting to know the pronunciation properly. Chanting Maha Mantra always has its effect, but we should avoid the 10 offenses. We know every morning we recite the 10 offenses also in the temple, but we should avoid. But when we start chanting, we forget. But at the end of our service, if we are doing service at home or anywhere or chanting, we recite a mantra. That is a forgiveness mantra. Because in this age of Kali, there is no, we are all contaminated. We are all sutras. We are all contaminated. And there is no perfect brahmana to carry out good ceremonies or fire sacrifices. There is no pure ingredients. Everything is contaminated, but we ask for forgiveness in Krishna. And we say, mantrahinam kriyahinam bhaktihinam janardhana yat pujita maya deva paripurnam tadastu me yaddatam bhakti matrena patram pushpam phalam jalam aveditam nivedam tu tad grihananukambaya vidhihinam mantrahinam yat kinchad upapaditam kriya mantra vihinam va tat sarvam shantimarhasi Agyana tatava jnanat ashubham yanmaya kritam shantimarhasi tat sarvam dasenaiva grihanamam stiti sevagatriyatra smritir sinchastutirvacha bhuyat sarvatmano vishnu vaidam tavichastitam aparada sahasrani kriyanti harnisham maya dasohamitimam atva samaswa madhusudhana Pratigya teva govinda name bhakta pranashyati iti samsmritya pranam sangrayamyaham. Now you may find it very long, like it 5-6 verses, but in each verse there is something specific. We ask Krishna, we are all your servant. whatever we can offer you offering. Chanting also is an offering to the Lord. And we don't have the nice speech. We cannot remember, but you said, Pratigyatava Govinda, you made the promise that my devotee will not perish. So we, aparada sahasrani, we are committing sins every day. Even doing service is seva aparada. Chanting also, we are doing aparad. But if we ask for forgiveness, Krishna will forgive us, but we should also work toward being perfect. That we should do. But Prabhuji, you can look for this prayer, and this is, if you write it and you put it on your altar, every time you finish your service, you recite it, it will come very, very quickly. You will master it. So not only for you, I always, in every classes, I tell everybody to learn these mantras and recite it. Now I see that in UK, devotees have started after the service, they will recite that prayer. After the class, they will recite that prayer, just because we are making so many mistakes by our words and our behavior sometimes, our thoughts sometimes. Sometimes we have this toughness in ourselves. Oh, I'm giving the class, I am the best. Oh, these all are very, very bad, you know. So that's why we ask for forgiveness, not only from the Lord, from Guru, from devotees, from all the associates around us. Yes, Prabhuji. But it has, chanting Maha Mantra has
That's
it.
very nice. So you can share the, yeah, that's perfect. You can share maybe the reference.
Yes, Prabhuji, I will
Those
post it
that
on
mantra
the,
we can recite.
yes, yeah, I will post it, Prabhuji. I will post it. Yes.
WhatsApp group. Okay. Hare Krishna. So I'm seeing a text here from Michael. I think we have a new devotee here in our forum. Michael. So Michael, feel welcome. If you have any question, please feel free to ask. So is there anyone with a comment? Don't want to lock you out.
Yes,
If
Michael
no one,
raised. Michael has raised his hand, Prabhuji.
yes,
Michael, go
say
ahead.
something. Hare Krishna. Unmute yourself.
Has he sent any comments?
You can unmute yourself, or you just write on the chat box.
I was to ask, what's the difference between perfection through the bhakti and progress as we practice the bhakti? Is it okay to concentrate on your progress, or the perfection is much outstanding?
Okay,
That's my
Prabhuji.
question. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. If I understood, your question is, do we focus on our progress, or do we focus on the perfection? Is it your question?
Yes, that's his question.
Okay. So Prabhuji, at the beginning, we should think about the progress. How are we progressing? Because unless we progress, we will not reach perfection, right? So for the time being, we should you should think about how am I set a goal, right? Because we have a kind of a tree. Sometimes we want to go faster. Then when we want to go faster, then we take Guru. First we get association of devotees, then devotees will help us, then we will climb, and then we will get the Guru, and then we will go. Guru is like an elevator. Or we can go through the steps, right, which will be longer. So our focus should be, how do I progress? I have come to the platform of this Krishna consciousness now. Now I want to go a bit further, and it doesn't matter your pace. We don't need to run. Srila Prabhupada said it will take 1 minute to get connected to the Lord. So it can happen immediately. It can take a lifetime. It depends on your endeavor also. Now, you are already there. You are already in a class. That means you have the understanding of this process. Now, what you do, slowly, you keep coming to with association of the devotees, with your nice questions, with your comments, with whatever you want to know. Then from there, you go slowly. You start chanting. Maybe you're chanting 1 round. Maybe you're chanting 2. You try, you tell yourself, I'm taking this vow to go higher and higher. Now, there are some people who says, I chant only 1 round. I chant it perfectly and I take 15, 20 minutes. But that is not the goal. The goal should be this. It has been set 16 rounds. I know beginners cannot jump from 1 to 16 in 1 day, in 1 week, in 1 month. So it may take even a year for them to realize that the more I chant, the more I am cleaning myself, and the more Krishna, I am voicing out the name of Krishna, calling out for Krishna, for Radharani, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The more I call out for these names, the more I am being cleansed inside, right? That is a progress. And when you understand this, you start doing more rounds, and then you start focusing on your sadhana. Not only chanting, slowly, start clearing our habits. From time immemorial, we are full of all anarthas in our heart, all kind of sinful thought activities we have been doing. Now the thoughts are coming because when we come to this material world, we come with how can I say? We come with something that had been in the past. We carry that with us. The trait is there, and sometimes we dream about something that we have never, somebody that we have never met, we don't know, but that person has been in our life at some point, which we don't know which life was it, right? So all this will come slowly. We try to clear. Suppose we go to live in a new house. Doesn't matter, or in an old house even, when we move from house to house. Before going in that house, we clean it. And then we set to live in that house. Similarly, our heart is very dirty. Now, when we chant, slowly we will clean, and then Krishna will come and reside in there. Krishna from his input will tell you that you are progressing, and you will realize it yourself that now I am on a higher platform. So for now, don't think about perfection, Prabhuji. Think about progressing toward the perfection. Instead of jumping to the perfection without going through the process, you will end nowhere. Okay? I hope I answered your question, Prabhuji. Michael, Prabhu?
Yeah, sure. My question is answered. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, if there's no more question,
nice.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, even I was saying in the Gita is also mentioned in chapter 7, text 3, Manushanam Sahasreshu Kaschirya Tatit Sidaye Yasatam Api Shidanam Kashin Mam Beti Tatva. That many people they endeavor, thousands of people among men they endeavor for perfection, and out of these people, 100 ones even who knows Krishna in the truth. So even perfection may not lead you to understand Krishna. Perfection. These are called siddhis, people who are seeking for perfection. But also Krishna, Rupa Goswami says in the Nectar of Instruction that the progress of a devotee depends on his attitude. So attitude is more important. Just like a child who is crawling, planning to walk. So the parents do not focus on the perfection, how my child is walking. But at least she observes the progress, or at least he's making maybe 1 step, 2 steps a day, several steps. Then that's how they learn how to walk. So progress is more important than seeking for perfection. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So you can stop there kindly. Let's stop there. So thank you very much, Mataji, for taking us through this wonderful shloka of the Bhagavatam and your good explanation. And it was self-explanatory. Everyone have understood. If you see there are no more questions, shows everyone has understood. There was clarity. So let us kindly unmute ourselves and chant one round of Hare Krishna Mahamantra for the glorification of Indulekha Devi Mataji. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Rama
Hare.
Hare Hare
Vancha Karpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vyeva
Patitanam
Patitanam
Pavanebhyo
Pavanebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, नंद कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की
Jai,
जय, श्रीला प्रभुपाद की
Jai,
जय, गुरु महाराज की जय,
Jai,
एडुरथ यात्रा की
Jai,
जय. थैंक यू
Jai,
Indulekha Mataji ki jai.
श्रीला
Jai,
प्रभुपाद की जय जय जय.
Jai
Thank
Hind.
you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mataji. Excellent class today.
Thank you, Mataji.
Yeah,
Short notice.
Zoom Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai.
Yes.
Thank you very
Mataji.
much,
Thank
Priya
you, Hare
Govind
Krishna.
Prabhu, for hosting the class. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.